welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to do a story titled, Buckle Up for the Story of My Soon-to-Be Ex, 10-Year Affair. This is ongoing. And a shout out to Chris for sending in this story. And guys, like the title said, this is about as you can see, a husband and father. He's 52, married obviously a while, 3 kids. And this guy is now luring up and going to war after discovering his wife is cheating again. You're going to see how 10 years earlier, found out she was having an affair with her boss. Talk about a cliche. And got all the usual BS and waterworks and promises and all that. And the only reason he stayed is because he had 3 small children with her. Otherwise, he would have been gone, and I actually do believe that. He did what so many fathers and husbands do. Well, surprise, surprise, once a cheater, always a cheater, and she's back to her same old tricks all that time. And now he discovered this, now he's done. And this story is really one that all guys that are in relationships or marriages or want to be one day should hear. You must understand these people like this are rotten people. They don't change. A leopard doesn't change its spots. A tiger doesn't change its stripes. And they'll continue on when they think that they got away with it. And by you allowing and staying with a cheater, they're going to think, oh, you're weak, and will really treat you worse and stay on. So I'm going over this to show you what this guy goes through, but ultimately he's finally handling it in the way that you should. But guys, this happens to you, end it immediately. Deal with the short-term pain instead of long-term pain. Pull the Band-Aid off. And oh yeah, you're going to see all the typical BS that comes from her. So it starts off, he says here, typical obligatory comment here, I never thought this would happen to me. So buckle up. This is a long story, but is my lived experience over the better part of a decade. Why this post? Well, here's the background. I'm 52 and I came to Reddit to read others' experiences, get some perspective, and honestly, I don't even know what else. My life is a disaster and I'm running on fumes mentally and physically. Well, brother, you came to okay, this channel's the right place. Reddit, you never knew who you're going to get, but you're doing the right thing. Somewhere along the way, I stumbled into the rabbit hole that is Reddit, various affairs, and infidelity subs. That's how I got here, the world of Reddit. On to the story. It's a wild and long one, and a sad one. He says, for context here, the main players in the story are me, 52 years old, and my wife, 46. Way back story for painting the scene. We've been together for 23 years, married for 15. This all started about 4-ish years into the marriage, so roughly 10 years ago. 10 years. See? But there ain't no way she wasn't pulling BS prior to them getting married. Well, one day I received an anonymous text telling me that I should check my wife's comings and goings. That I would be interested in what I found. Not a lot of info to go on, but hey, at least someone had a moral compass. Well, I'd love to know who all these anonymous texts are in these stories, It was short, vague, intentional, but planted deceit. Sent from a texting app, no way to follow up. At the time, we had 3 children who were 1, 4, and 8. I trusted her completely. Smack! Never do that. Never trust anybody completely, guys. Life wasn't perfect, but I thought it was pretty darn close. We were both successful. Things were good. We never checked each other's phones, but I also never hesitated to hand them over. So if there was proof, it likely wouldn't be obvious anyway. So what did I do? I went full detective, FBI-worthy investigator. I bought a recording device, thanks Amazon, and planted it in her vehicle. Got access to her work phone password, nothing there. But, literally the next day, the recording device paid off. On our drive to work, talking to someone on the phone, it was apparent that this was not the first time. What was said, I knew it was somebody from her work. A lot of flirting, S-word conversations and innuendos, and the icing on the cake was planning to meet at our house on her day off, during our sick 1-year-old's nap, and I was crushed. What a snake. It was bad enough she's cheating on the guy, but she wants to cheat in this guy's own house, obviously in his bed, while their 1-year-old is in the nursery or whatever, sick. This woman, that takes it to a whole new level of evil. When women do that in their own homes, when their husband's off at work, helping provide for the family, I think they do it on purpose to spite him. I really do. What do you think? I like to hear that in the comment section. I was crushed. I'd given everything to my family, like everything, blood, sweat, and tears. I came from a severe broken home with a awful father, toxic and tons of trauma. People tend to either repeat those learned behaviors or they go in the opposite direction and commit to never repeating those mistakes. I chose the latter. I gave my family the life I never had. I could only dream about when I was a kid, so long hours, a demanding job, side gigs to make extra cash, to build our life as a great husband and father. I'm literally someone who fought through life as hard as I could to get where I am. But with that, I am a personal and professionally diagnosed people pleaser. Smack! Well, there you go. Guys, never be a people pleaser. I know a lot of guys struggle with that for various reasons, but it doesn't mean you got to be a jerk, but you got to take care of yourself. If you're just going around trying to make everybody happy, like, don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And that's what people pleasers do. But this guy, listen to him. Terrible childhood, effed up family, and he's doing the best he can for his family and all. This sounds like a good guy. This is how he's rewarded. Well, this is sadly quite common. The first confrontation, not according to the plan, but I had a plan. In my seething, rage-filled mind, I wanted to catch her. However, the plan lasted until she came to bed that night, wrapped her arms around me, and I snapped. I confronted her immediately. I figured out it was her boss, who's also married with kids, and of course, birds of a feather flock together. Cheating with the boss, another cliche, and the guy's married with kids. Well, cue to the usual from her. Now listen to this, guys. This ain't going to sound surprising to any of you. Gaslighting on whose fault it is, mine, of course. Denials, minimalization, and eventually she admitted an emotional affair. As she was saying, just texting, just flirting, because I had been neglectful. See, every time, always, minimizing the whole thing, denying it, and making it out to be the husband's fault. It's your fault I cheated. She probably blamed him being away all the time, taking extra side gigs to raise cash for the family. You can't win. And if he wasn't working as hard, then she'd be bitching because he wasn't bringing enough money. Then came the trickle truth, fighting, and more revelations. In the years leading up to this, I wasn't in a great place work-wise. Long hours, high stress, burnout. Literally nothing sinister. My work was a crap show. But I was just busting my tail to be a success and make life for our family. I was disconnected at home, according to her, mostly from exhaustion. Think falling asleep, laying with the kids at bedtime. Hear that? He's busting his tail for his family. Naturally, he's worn out, which any of you fathers out there, you know what that's like. Not to mention 3 kids, I'm sure, is exhausting. And she's blaming him. She claims she thought I was cheating on her. Oh my God. See? Someone she knew worked with me and kept asking if everything was okay at home. And of course, I heard she slept with him too. I just can't prove that. To her credit, she did investigate me. She checked my phone, which was clean, verified I was at work when I said I was. I didn't even work with women. There was and is nothing to find anyways. It's bad enough she's cheating on him, but with him working so hard to take care of them and then accusing him of cheating. You guys are relationship guys, pay attention to this. Her conclusion, she couldn't prove anything, so tit for tat. Meanwhile, she was rejecting me constantly, physically, sexually, emotionally, and her boss made her feel wanted. Was just a good friend, and she needed one. Oh, by the way, he's not getting a nookie during all this. Big surprise. She ain't getting it from you. She's getting it someplace else. Remember that. Reconciliation. We agreed to try to fix things, but without the kids, I would have been gone like smoke in the wind. But with kids, again, morally, I couldn't destroy their lives. Smack! Dude, you're not destroying their lives. She's destroying their lives. She's destroying the marriage. I'm glad he says, hey, if there weren't any kids, I would have been gone. But now, you staying with her and fixing things, which never get fixed, that just shows her, oh my God, I can get away with this. And what do you think happens? The kids are better off in an environment where mom and dad aren't fucking hating each other and fighting and arguing and drama and what? People have to learn the hard way sometimes. It's commendable he wants to protect the kids, but what happens is inevitable. Well, for a time, I thought we had come close to moving on. Since I caught her before actually having a physical affair. I went all in. I absolutely refocused on us. Planned dates, traveling as a couple on trips around the world, tied to my job, therapy, anxiety medication, self-work, full commitment, in other words. She agreed to the following. Now listen to this. To cut ties with her boss completely. She got a new boss, allegedly. End the affair. He moved somewhere else in the company. leave her job via HR or otherwise. Did he just say she's an HR? Oh man, stereotype. Find a new job and commit to us. It wasn't great at first, but eventually maybe 90%. 90%, more like 90% bullshit. That's what you're getting. The next 10 years. 10 years, guys, after all this. I know a lot of you guys are going to leave now saying, I can't listen to this, he's a fool. But we listened to this to learn, and he felt trapped. Again, this guy was looking after his 3 kids. Over time, I'd occasionally get suspicious of her. She never quit her job. It was her career, and she had equally worked her way to where she was. Shocker. We knew darn well she wasn't going to quit her job, because in her mind, hey, he ain't going anywhere. His name would come up through third parties and conversations. So recap, she never left the company. Like I said, he just moved divisions. Every time I raised concerns, she denied everything, gaslit me, made me feel like I was the problem. See? And I bet you it was worse, because now he stayed. Eventually I believed it. I convinced myself I was crazy, that I'd just never fully get over the betrayal, so I just shut that part of myself down. Smack, dude, you can't do that to yourself. Life went on. We both became more successful in our careers, built a great life, bought our dream home in the country 7 years ago, expanded everything. I carried most of the load, financially and physically, 75-25 split. But it was for my family. I didn't care about the math then. Smack! You're busting your tail going through all that, and she's cheating on you, and you're probably not getting any nookie, and you're putting 75% of your salary and income towards the expenses, and she's only doing 25. What is she doing the rest of her 75? We know. Buying BS, spending on another guy, racking up money in her accounts. Come on. What about equality, huh? It should be 50-50. Especially if you make the same incomes, for heaven's sake. I had everything I wanted, or so I thought. But wait, there's more. Of course, I wouldn't be a story if there wasn't right. November last year, so we're talking November 2025, I'm headed back to work for a work trip. My sister messages me when I'm at JFK Airport. She says, I'm picking you up from the airport when you get home. We need to talk before you get home. Do not tell your wife. Well, at least this time he knows who the message is from. Yeah, Omnius. Guess how long that last flight felt? I get to her house, and my family is there. Parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews. I thought it was an intervention, which would have been easier. Here's the story that was replayed to me. A friend of my sister's, Kristen, had just started seeing a new nail tech, Sandy, who did it in the evenings at home as a supplement to her day job. Relevant point here. Casual gossip and girl talk. It turned into workplace drama stories. I am guessing girls one-upping each other like they do, so I imagine it went down like this. Oh, that's bad, but I've got one for you. So Sandy, one-upping Kristen's last tale drama, and trauma, starts talking about her boss, her day job boss. Okay, her day job boss. Gossiping with girls at the salon. And it escalates fast, and here's the bullet points. An 8+ year affair with her senior manager. Not discreet at all. They pretty much bragged and hid nothing. People were fired for reporting to HR as reprisal. Open jokes about sleeping together, betrayals everywhere. Then she drops a name. My wife has a very unique name. Let's call her Uniqua. Kristen, with a Pikachu face, says, hold on, is your last name such and such? Silence. Well, the bombshell. Sandy had 2 hours of details to share, and once she opened the floodgates, lots of truths came out. Lots of tears over her treatment by my wife and her still and never cheating boss. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Dude, how could you not known? There's a few things to unpack here. So in other words, one of the girls at the nail salon, who's working at the nail salon for some extra cash part-time, works for this dude's wife and could see all what was going on because she's flaunting her affair in the workplace. What I tell you guys about once a cheater, always a cheater. She's continued the whole thing on when she thought the guy wasn't going anywhere. Some important context here. He says, my company is her company's largest client. Because of conflict of interest rules, I'm completely walled off from anything involving her workplace. I have to recuse myself for certain conversations and discussion of interactions for compensation. My job is mostly upper management. Her company is execution of scope. very, very loosely linked. That's how and why I didn't know or couldn't really have line of sight on anything. Through my work, despite the loose connection, and further context, the scale of my employer, think one of the 25th largest global companies, 100,000 employees kind of thing, and the conflict of interest, information sharing, and ethics controls that go along with all that corporate crap. Number two, people at her work simply assumed that the two of them were separated from their spouses because of the overt and bragging nature of what was occurring at work. After all, who has buckets of audacity like that? Well, back to the story at hand, the villains, my wife and her still same boss. Of course, he was not going to go anywhere. Round two, D-Day, doing things better. What I learned, the original affair was physical and emotional with talk of love and leaving their lives to be together. Getting married, complete with CC'd accidental emails sent and more bragging. Things never ended from the initial denied affair a decade previous. He was always her boss, always. We knew it. Dude, I mean, again, he obviously stayed for the kids and convinced himself that things were going to get better. But my God, I mean, imagine the amount of humiliation he'd feel with all this. The person he thought that she was, I mean, after the whole thing, when he discovered that she was not who he thought she was. And there's no way there wasn't cheating going on before they even got married. And by the way, the kids, 3 kids, how do you know one of them isn't that asshole boss's? She and her boss had people fired over the affair and complaints. Company HR and senior leadership knew and is documented. I found out who sent the original anonymous text. They quit over the situation. They had people fired for obviously talking about what was going on with them and reporting them to HR, and the company knows about it. I smell lawsuits galore, at least class action with all those people. Who knows? Well, we're not done yet. It does get better. I contacted her boss. Ooh. After denying everything, once I told him the details that I knew and asked if this was a conversation I should have with his wife, he completely folded and told me everything. What a pussy, just like that. Of course, because he's a fucking coward. I have him by the balls. He probably wears his brown pants every day from all the defecating he must squeeze out of his back end in paranoia over what is or could be coming from him. He says they absolutely had ended things a few years ago, supposedly, and he had worked on his marriage. What a load of crap. I would ruin this guy in every possible way. But they were in love. They planned a future together. That was my line in the sand. Not just SEX, and oops, such and such happened, blah, 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 blah. She had an entire second life test driving another guy in another life. The truth is hard to unsee. When I look at her now, I do realize I loved a lie. And I guess I still do. It's hard to turn it off, especially as the mother of my children. Smack! Snap out of it, bro. Yes, you loved a lie. You loved the person she was not and is not. And so what? She's the mother of your kids. She's a fucking rotten person. That person never existed. She test drove another relationship and settled for me, which it didn't work out. The second confrontation. Okay, this is now the next one. Listen how things go. This time I came prepared. I pulled her aside away from the children. Same denial, same gaslighting, saying, you're being unreasonable. This was settled years ago. Then I started listening. Dates, hotels, locations, detailed conversations, named coworkers that I knew the truth. I watched it hit her face, and she knew that I knew, and I had proof. Then came the trickled truth once again. See, guys, this is just standard. It's the same crap it was 10 years earlier. She admits only what I can prove and denies every single thing else, saying it wasn't like that. It was just a friendship. It's been over for years. My ongoing reality, and she admits the following, that the affair did happen, that she never truly followed reconciliation terms from the original discovery. Well, shocker. But she contradicts herself constantly, claims that I misheard things, doesn't know I've recorded everything, says she ended it years ago, won't leave her job, and the same excuses as 10 years ago. See, guys, they all follow the same freaking book, the Hobag Handbook. She says if we are splitting, she needs her job. She can't find another job paying as much with her reputation, and I wonder why. That I'm her soulmate. That she loves me and wants to fix things. Yeah, I heard all that bullshit 10 years ago, honey. See, guys, same thing. This is why I don't fall for it. Just end it. Otherwise, the more you talk to them and the waterworks and the excuses and the trickle truth and blaming you and promising to change, they don't. But she's never taken any accountability nor given direct answers and is offended that I don't believe her. Again, this shows, obviously, she has no respect for him and thinks he's a putz because he fell for it the first time and stuck around, so she's trying the same thing. Where I'm at right now, I am done. I'm going through the motions for myself, I guess. Therapy, strong support system, and I'm fully gray-rocking her. There you go. I'm quietly preparing my exit. I can't bring up formally separating. She goes nuts, so everything is baby steps moving in the shadows. I'll let her go nuts, but if you got to do this stuff to get out of there, so be it. She's literally holding me hostage in the relationship. I honestly think she's just ignoring things, hoping I'll just carry on. How is she holding? Is she locking you up like in the movie Misery with James Caan and Kathy Bates? You guys seen that Psycho movie? I can never watch it twice. No, that's not happening, so come on, dude. The kids don't know, her family doesn't know. She's performing like nothing's wrong. Of course, she's a master at it. She also doesn't know that I'm actually flexing on her manager, so that he makes sure he doesn't lose her job. So that he makes sure she doesn't lose her job. Because no job for her makes my life more difficult. Support, separation, and divorce-wise. Literally, she now likely only has her job because of my leverage and implications. Yeah, you don't want her to get fired or lose her job because then that makes it harder for him. Yeah, child support, alimony, all that. It's already going to be bad enough. So later on in time, he can do what he has to do once they're divorced. My reality. I am destroyed, mentally, physically, emotionally, and very likely financially. I've aged 10 years in the last 6 months. I'm humiliated in my personal and professional life. I'm down 20 pounds, barely eating, sleeping 3 hours a day with nightmares constantly, and going to have to get at least 2 of 3 paternity tests for the kids. I don't think I'll ever fully recover from this, but I'm moving forward for my kids. Yes, sir. Stay strong, get through this for the kids, but don't stay in this for the kids. You saw what happened last time. And yeah, test those kids to see if they're his kids. God, I hope after all this, at the very least, the children he loves for all these years are his children. I mean, come on, give this guy a break, God. I am the one putting on the show now. I'm lawyering up, hiding money, making sure I limit how I'm going to get screwed. I'm not only moving in the shadows, I've become the shadows. Everyone that thinks I'm sullen, depressed, and not taking action, that's by design. My moves are coming, and I don't want to be a suspect when the glass house shatters for them. After all, the moves are legally documented, and I'm as protected as I can be. My soon-to-be ex doesn't even know how much influence I have at my job. My VP wants to pull their contract over this. Whoa, that's massive pull. The fact that people that work with us every day have never ever come to him or me to do the right thing, but I asked him not to do it because I need her to keep her job a little bit longer. That another implied lever I have. Yeah. Get the divorce, and then they can pull the contract and get her fired. Now listen to this part. This ain't going to surprise you. She is love-bombing me. Never been so affectionate, especially in front of others. Tries to have you-know with me all the time, despite barely having any interest before. He says, yes, I still throw her the bone. Why not? My therapist says take what is offered, especially if I have to be with her, and keep things peace. As long as I can detach the emotions and it's just SCX. Smack! Dude, what if she gets pregnant again? Stop hooking up with her. She knows obviously it's over. You know, I mean, he's putting on a show somewhat, but come on, well, maybe she doesn't know it's over. Who knows? But just don't sleep with her. We are at a no-fault state. Oh, God. Everything is kid-focused and generally financial divisions are mathematical calculations. Guess who loses? Me. I worked my tail off my entire life, pulled myself up from times being homeless and having nothing to show for it, for some cheating gold digger to play the victim. It isn't right to say, but I understand why some people just get bitter. Yeah. One last complication, really that the only complication that keeps me from going nuclear, one of my kids is in pretty severe mental distress and seeing a therapist and on a list for psychiatric help. Doing that could literally break her and put her at further risk, so I have this effed up lie for my kids right now. Thankfully, I travel 40% of during the work weeks, and that gives me separation to keep my sanity. Well, why am I posting this? Okay, it was the garbage truck backing in. Different type of sirens and noise. This is therapy to me, and maybe it helps somebody else out. Maybe seeing a different perspective on a path forward. Reddit and reading material and videos have helped me. It stopped me from being broke completely and mental breakdown, I'm sure. I don't know how long I can carry on this act, but I realized I was in love with a memory, not reality. Now, I think you were in love with who you thought she was, not necessarily a memory. I think she's probably someone like this, who's this diabolical and evil and heartless. There's no way she just turned that on after they said I do. That's where things are. Sorry if this is disjointed, it's a lot to compress, and I've adjusted details for anonymity. But to be clear, what's written here is not even as bad or as ugly as what has really transpired, just a condensed version. Hopefully this helps somebody else feel less alone. Maybe I'll update, maybe not. And if this somehow ends up in a video, well, I guess that's life. Thank you for reading. No, sir, it did end up in a video, but this is a channel where guys are going to help you out. Well, a lot of guys are going to yell at you for not divorcing her the first time around, but what's done is done. Sir, for God's sakes, if you're working in the shadows, or you've become the shadow, like you said, okay, keep doing that. I hope like hell those kids are yours. You deserve that, for God's sakes. But, yeah, you've learned. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And staying with her only just showed her that she can keep pulling this crap. You should have ended with her immediately, but I understand you're protecting your kids because they're little kids. You didn't want to hurt them, but look how this turned out. And the kids have no doubt over the years seen a household like that, what it's like. The kids are not dumb, they figure things out. But yeah, lawyer up, find out all your options. It is better to divorce regardless of how much you're hit than to stay with her like this. And no matter what, you've got to control the narrative. Those kids, your family, her family, everyone needs to know what she's been doing to you all these years, how you tried to make it work the first time, all that because the court of public opinion does play a factor on people's lives. And make sure she keeps her job as long as she can. And once you're divorced, then you can use your influence in your company to pull their contract or whatever the hell it is and maybe get her canned. Or maybe a lawsuit against her boss or something and telling his wife and ruining him. You deserve to go scorched earth and have nothing to do with her. But you, 52 years old, you will survive, okay? Even if you got to move out and live in a one-bedroom or fucking a studio apartment for a while, at least you're free, okay? And free to start over. You're a man, you're strong, you got it in you. But your story will help some people realize when they see this shit early on, end it, move on. Because right here, all the stuff she said to him, the gaslighting, the blaming him, the trickled truth, all that is textbook, what they do. And you must learn this, guy. So I wish you the best, sir. Please do update, let us know what's going on. Hopefully a good update that you served her. You're on the way out of this whole thing, but take the hits and move on. And by the way, guys, if he would have ended this 10 years earlier, what I understand, he would have taken a lot less of a hit financially. That's an additional 10 years he's married to her, making things more complicated and having the courts be more generous to her. We all know it. So, best of luck to this guy. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure you like the video. Share with your friends and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.